If nothing else, before 2024 is over, we're going to put to bed for good the mismanagement of ourselves. We're going to learn to love ourselves so that we can genuinely love and extend ourselves to others freely. Not as bargains, not as exchanges, not as compromises, not for the benefits in the physical. Out of design, out of identity, out of nature, out of purpose. Science fiction has dictated for you, the majority of your existence in the physical, what it is that you expect and ultimately what it is that you receive. Not only do the music and the movies that you use to entertain your idle time program you in subconscious ways that you and I may never understand, but there's also that other thing. There's also religion. The traditions and superstitions of our ancestors passed down through broken perspectives, paradigms, and divided into subsects for us to pledge our lives to. I can't fall in that pit with you. You're not gonna guilt me into going back into religion because I see it for what it is and what it always has been. And you will never see it for what it is and what it always has been until you've removed yourself from it so you can see it for what it is. You've heard all your life that you don't see things the same from the inside. But the moment that you remove yourself and you look back, oftentimes you see the foolishness of yourself as you partnered with something that is so silly, as you can see it for what it is for the first time. Me and my biological father, when I was a baby, did not use my mother as a mediator between the two of us, nor did I go to my mother to petition my father. At the time, he was very fond of me. I was a new concept, new project, new hopes, new ambitions, new drives, vicariously deposited inside of this vessel that I call my own. And that's something that we cannot overlook in this conversation. You are not serving your children as you see your children as possessions. We have weird ways of communicating, and we cast spells that become the reality of the people who we speak these powerful words over, not superstitiously, but because we have influence in their life and they use our words, they think, to remove the ignorance of their identity that they hold. They have questions about who they are, and they trust you. And you'll say, as you're somewhere telling somebody that if they don't get their life right, they're going to be condemned to an eternal pit of fire, unrescuable, irreversible, gnashing teeth and burning, and you think that you're saving a life, and really what you're doing is depositing a vessel of fear. Depositing into a vessel of love toxic fears that if they gravitate towards and give their attention to, will grow to become the very thorn in their side, the way you were already nursing your own wounds. And you'll say you didn't do it intentionally. You'll say you did it so that that person could be aware. But again, I ask you to start pausing and questioning these out-of-snap motives and definitions that you concoct in your head that you can only half explain because they're only half designed. But you'll use the fact that other people have limited understanding. Sometimes people do say, I will give people that. Sometimes people do say, oh no, I just can't explain it. I just can't put it in words. I can see it. I know what it is, but I don't know how to get you to understand it. And still, in that moment, what they're communicating is there is a lack of depth in your understanding to take what it is that I have and just see it for what it is. Everybody's not slow. Everybody's not behind. Everybody's not deficient in interpretation and perspective. No, some people are genuinely feeling the condescending energy that you are carrying underneath the kind words that you have learned to present to keep you socially safe. Some people know the social tricks that are used on a daily basis so that people are allowed to throw social rocks and hide their social hands. And some people have the confidence and the ability to respectfully address these dysfunctional social habits because they are not concerned with you approving, accepting, and wanting to be around them if your desire to be around them means that they are no longer free to be who they are. Nobody wants to be around you with restraints. Nobody wants to go to prison voluntarily because you are that great. What is it that you think that you offer that is so amazing that someone would voluntarily walk themselves into being your inmate, your hostage? Ask yourself that. Would you want to hang with you on a daily basis when your moods and your words are largely predicated on you having the things that you wish for but aren't willing to work for? Stop punishing the people around you for your lack of drive to pursue your purpose. You done sat around and got sick and you're leaking toxins on the people closest to you and you don't see it. And as they begin to distance themselves from you because of your conditional nature that you've developed, as you've concentrated all of your attention on the physical experience that is only a mirror of the inner makeup, the inner dialogue taking place inside of each and every one of us. If the source is universal, the experience is universal, the laws are universal, we are universal, it is only our perspective and our interpretation of our experience and what it is that we choose freely with our free will to give our attention to that differentiates any of us from any of us. You love to be different. You love to think that you are so different from everybody else. And the only thing different from you and every other universal human being that is in existence, breathing the same Christological air as you, is your perspective, your beliefs, how you feel, and all of your imaginations. And that's why you hold on to them so tightly. Even after you learn or begin to become aware of just how detrimental they can be. The day that you really become aware of how much you're suffering at the hands of yourself, you will really genuinely drop it all instantly. And just like that, there is a shift. But in the blindness, just like everything else, you think you see it already, and you think you have it under control, and you think that there's a plan, and you think that your thoughts will save you, And they really just take you back to the beginning of the issue. And it then festered a little bit, so it's grown into something a little bigger. And now you need more thoughts to take you in a bigger circle. And really all you're doing is blowing time. Time that was designed to teach you how to manage time and yourself. And we can look at how you utilize your time and how much of it you're willing to sell for crumbs. Not even enough. I'm talking about how much time you're willing to sell to still be in a situation where you're looking for more money. I know you don't value your time, because you would never spend your time doing anything that wasn't taking you towards your purpose. And if the money that you're making isn't even getting you through the month, how is it that you've convinced yourself that it's carrying you to your purpose? Or have you settled for something else? Have you left the pursuit of purpose and gone for the pursuit of paper? And I mean, you really have to be a student with it. I mean, you don't take a bunch of time criticizing and critiquing yourself to the point that you're no good in the physical experience. That's what it is to be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. Heaven is not in the clouds beyond, somewhere up there with the man upstairs. Heaven is within. The kingdom of God, which is heaven, is within. This isn't religion. This is truth. This is reality. This is fact. So if you set so much of your attention on what's going on in heaven within you, you'll eventually become no earthly good. And what is it to become earthly good? To be earthly good is not to be good for the grass and good for... That's in the universal laws under control. You don't have to do anything for that. The rain will come, the grass will grow. And by design, the universe will flow. It's you and I that be having issues. It's us that be glitching. It's us that don't be flowing. Because we don't be knowing. And that's for real. Like, that's not a rhyme. That's not to be pretty tangling words. That is absolute fact. We glitch because we don't know. We don't flow within the design because we have absolutely no knowledge of the truth. We were taught everything upside down. You were told if you wanted to fix your problems, you needed to think about your problems and find a solution inside of yourself. But if there was a solution to your problems inside of your head, would they ever have been your problems? Would you ever have walked yourself into it if you knew? So what changed now? You finna turn one bad decision into another because your life is still based on passing thoughts that are all based on past superstitions and prejudices that you wrote for yourself. Somebody else might have co-signed it. Somebody else might have even said it first. But it wasn't until you buried it in the soil of yourself and watered it with your attention that it grew inside of you. Eventually, it's something that you could see. And I could see. And we all could see. You might pretend it's not there, but we can see it. And ultimately, why do we do this? Why do we partner ourselves with religious cults that we believe will lead us into salvation and peace and harmony when they are not even harmonious amongst each other when we arrive? Like, think about it. Like, look at how the leaders of Christianity operate and conduct themselves amongst each other. Geno Smith sits in a pulpit with a Bible open and constantly finds the time to bash and criticize the ministry of T.D. Jakes, regardless of what the man did. I'm just saying, inside of that book, there's a metaphysical, mythological story of the character Jesus Christ talking amongst his disciples who are upset because there's a group of people who are down there slandering and telling lies with Jesus' name attached to it. And they want to ride. They not feeling it. They want to go down there and they want to set it on fire. They want to go and put a stop to this. We rocking with the truth. And the mythological character in the story presents to us what our mentality should be towards anyone who is speaking the name of Christ and spreading the message of truth, even if it's flawed in its presentation, or they have discrepancies in their personal life that ain't got nothing to do with you. Because I know you ain't judging nobody, because if you're judging them, you're just recognizing something that belonged to you and you should have been dealing with yourself. Over there picking and poking in somebody else's eye, and you got crust and boogers all in yours. Dead wrong. But why do we find ourselves drawn to this? If you find yourself drawn to this presentation, it's because the judge in you is still alive and very well, even though it's making you sick. You walk around judging everybody. You walk around finding reasons not to like everybody, not to partner with and connect with everybody, even though you long to be partnered and connected with other people because it's natural to your design. It's not doing you any good. You're wasting your experience. You could be having an impact. That's what you were intended for. You could actually be cultivating the very awareness and love that you say this world is lacking. And you out here just yapping, just carrying on, just SSing, just saying stuff. It's not just Geno, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's inside of religious sects of all kinds, there's a fascination with Kevin Samuels' content. And I rock with Kevin Samuels' content because it's comical to me how blatantly honest he would be with these people on his show. But for me to sit and digest Kevin Samuels' show would indicate to me a very strong presence of the judge still within me, finding a judgmental podcast edifying or enriching or entertaining. Inside of your appetites is the truth of your presentation. And you always need to be aware of what your presentation is, because you need to be aware of how your presentation is holding up with your identification. That's why you need to know what your identification is. And it's not just religion. I mean, this is just common sense. If I'm a man and I'm coming into a new situation with a female and I enter your house, I begin visiting your house and I get there and your kids don't want to be there, Your pets don't want to be there. I'm, what make you think I'm gonna stay and hang out and find out why everybody here is miserable? I get there and you're miserable. You're full of complaints. I don't want to be here. There's a presence here. There's a attention to what is not wanted and what's not good and not enriching here. And with your attention being on such, you're going to keep calling such things to you. And I don't want to be nowhere near you. I don't want to partner with you in such a thing, not for you or for me. This ain't even just about me. Because what you hold and what you want and expect for yourself, it affects me none until I partner with it and make it my own. I'm just being real. Like, you're not strong enough to be around all them people that's still negative minded, because you're still coming out of that. You know that all of them years of being negatively tuned, you still sometimes wake up looking for what's wrong, looking for what's off, and you find it well. You find it much quicker than you find what's right. You speak on it much louder and much sooner than you do what you enjoy. You talk about what you ain't gonna put up with way more than you talk about what you appreciate from the people around you. And you should sit down honestly, unbiasedly, and assess what these things mean about you and where you are as it pertains to the truth of yourself. Because truthfully, you are whole. Truthfully, you are righteous. Truthfully, you are perfect. You are built for edification. You are full of abundance. You have the faith of Christ installed and instilled in you. You good to go. You just ain't never knew that. And you've been pretending to know that. And that's what religion has been doing. Remember, inside of religion, there's a picture of a naked madman chained in a graveyard, torturing himself voluntarily. And nobody can talk him out of it. And inside of this picture that's inside of religion, inside of this mythological story, the religious group have never seen themselves in that madman, that naked madman, that I am, that Christ drove the demons out of and made new and sent out to be an ambassador of the truth. Get out the graveyard, that's all I'm saying. Stop trying to get me and everybody else to join you in the graveyard. And come out of the graveyard. You think that everybody walking in freedom and liberated from this idea that there is something or someone else that is dictating what is right and good for them and wrong, and a sin that is going to leave them, on flames. You think everybody that is thinking that is misled and is stupid. We ain't even gonna drag it out and put it in elaborate terms. You think that they just don't know, and God help them. You tried. But again, inside of how you present God to be, inside of how you present yourself to be, it's not guaranteed to be the true factual reality of either one. But there is guaranteed to be who you think you are and who you think God is. And you're going to project that loudly upon everybody that you come in contact with until you are free of all of your miscreations. And you understand that there are immovable aspects of this experience that you may not understand, but you do not control. And you don't need to, because the creator of the experience and the creator of you are the same, and they are good. And the experience was created whole, and you were created whole, and everything that you need to be successful inside of the experience was given to you freely. So you don't have to do that thing that you've been doing for the longest, where you pretend like it's you that's holding you up. You can actually sit down and rest in the physical until you hear within the spiritual realm what it is that you were actually passionate about, to the point that you would do it even if no one ever recognized you. Lock in. Safety. Love.